This conference will now be recorded.
Have a little better presentation.
You did fine.
What's wrong with yours?
You need some whistles.
I'll work on it.
Sounds like we gotta get more than him, more money. Brian kinda needs a little more to build towers and to build this and to build that.
I think John's doing a fantastic job.
Yeah,
It reminds me, I note to myself, Chairman, that you and I are supposed to meet with Brett sometime in the month of July to talk about her increase. She got a little bit more than John Bay did to start off with, but so the question is, it's only like a few cents really more to equalize them, wasn't it?
Well, to whether or not you do the 5%.
10%.
5 for this year.
oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
You were
For
gonna
Brett.
You started
Brett.
higher, but you didn't, yeah. But you didn't
5.
We're back in 2023 all of a
Yeah.
sudden.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
where are we at? What do we
Okay.
wanna do here?
So, Chairman, if I may,
Yes.
I have a couple of things that I need to discuss. So we got a call from Brad Wilson from Work Comp, and originally they had quoted us a 9% decrease,
10.
10 on the Work Comp, and then he called and said it was only going to be 7, and so I need to get 3 of you or 4 of you to say it's okay to add 5,000 to Bruce, not to Bruce's, to the county's insurance budget, which is Department 145.
Okay.
Work comp.
Yep.
It's a guess
So,
anyway,
just do
but
it.
please.
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna add 5,000 to 145. Extension, I'm gonna take that back to the 11.2. Greg reached out to me and wanted to make sure, or to ratify that you want him to add to his budget the Indeed employment app. He has not added that in yet, so I need to know if that's something you want him to budget for 2024.
Sounds like when you talk to the department heads, it may not be as needed as we thought, or am I wrong? What was your
I
take
think
on
he got the feedback was yes.
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 That's the.
it? Then I would like to see it. Yes.
Okay.
will Greg be here?
I can call him up if I just told him I would ask you if you needed him. I would have him come up.
Thinking about that in particular, but a lot of you guys understand his lingo a lot better than I do, but that full page of
No,
writing that
it's
he
way
put
over
in there,
my
I
head.
could use a little explanation.
I would give him a call.
Because instead of sitting in an open meeting, he's a lot easier to get one-on-one,
Sit
because
down
he'll
with
take time and make sure that you know,
Oh, yeah,
like literally go through every single thing that you need to.
needs to do
To
that
hit
for
on.
me anyway.
I was just down there, Richard, and I
It's
think
tough.
maybe he was out somewhere, so I didn't see him.
Okay,
So yes, add Indeed into his budget.
Yes. Yes.
That's- okay. Richard, you.
yeah,
I think it's going to get us into that Wyoming.
All right, so the other have two other things. So Brett from Equalization reached out to me this week. The city of Deadwood is in open enrollment for their health insurance, and they've made some changes, which she would qualify for a change of life event to come on to the county. You can't just switch to a county unless it's through open enrollment. Ours is in November. But because of what the city of Deadwood is doing with their health insurance, it would be considered a financial hardship. Because I think, if I understood correctly, the city of Deadwood is reducing what they're paying. Don't take any lessons from them.
So she's wondering what we're going to do on insurance.
So she's asking if I can add the insurance, the single policy in her budget for 24, because if she comes on there, she will be short. So she's either going to have to do a
I see.
supplement.
So it'll
Yeah.
change.
So
If she
her
ends up-
budget's going to go up in that because I have to add.
Well, that's an
single
option we
policy.
offer any employee, so I
Yeah,
think we do it.
so you're okay with me adding that? So her budget will go up a little bit. Everybody's okay with that? Okay. The other thing is with John's budget, he proposed that pay scale for that administrative assistant. Are you okay with me changing that pay scale? I did budget for that amount for Diane.
And then it'll get adjusted on the first of the year when we.
Right, when we do the pay scale. Yep, but I just want to make sure that you are okay with the 2597, the 2648, and the 2701 for the grades 1, 2, and 3 for the highway administration.
It brings us in line for the department.
Yes, it would. It basically, you're taking what is here. If you looked at your wages, it's at the beginning. It's just basically moving into that. And I budgeted for the 2701 for Diane.
Yeah.
All right, I just want to make sure that,
These are scary times.
And it's in there already.
yes,
We're,
yes, I budgeted for it already. It's in already in the number, so I wouldn't be changing it. I just want to make sure that I can implement that as far as the pay scale.
keeping employees and hiring new ones is gonna become quite a struggle.
Other than that, I don't know of any other changes. That I gave you all of the changes. I kind of highlighted the budgets that I changed according to what you wanted me to do at the last meeting. If there's something else other than what I presented to you here today, along with the items that I just talked to, I don't have anything else to change except for I will need to know if the 10% will stand forward, and if you're okay with the change of the health insurance, which is paying the full single membership and doing the 80/20 for the other 3 classes. Other than that, those are the only changes that I need to do, because that will change. If you change the percentage, that changes everything that I presented today, which is fine. I just need to know what you want me to plug in there, because I do need to publish this in August, the provisional.
Well, I have one item. I'd like to talk a little bit about this public health nurse.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for
Um,
bringing that up. I forgot that.
I've never supported that program. I think WIC is valuable, but I just don't think we're getting our bang for buck on that. I really think it should be state funded. And what they didn't tell us in the past is all the money they're gathering above and beyond it. And I know some of the people that work there and they do good work, but why the county's in the middle of that, I just don't understand. That's where I'm at. Not that they don't do good services, but I don't know why the counties always have to pay for this stuff.
Well, and you flat asked him, what do they do if a county doesn't provide funding? And he said, we provide the service. Which kind of shock.
Yeah, and you know, that's $2 per person. Everybody that lives in the county roughly, or more, that we're paying.
25, 750.
Library folks came
I
just
see
to
that.
listen. I don't know if they necessarily want to talk.
And then, so I'll leave that up to you guys, but if it was me, I wouldn't even budget that. Maybe that's a little abrupt, but that's how I feel about it. And I have for several years, for those of you. I picked on that one for quite a while.
Sounds like Tommy and the senior citizen.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to get mad.
Would you library ladies like to speak?
We're just curious if you had questions for us or just well, we're hoping that, I'm assuming you all received the information that we sent.
Where?
And, you know, we wanted to hear what thoughts you all have about the library, the Lawerence County libraries.
Okay.
Can you share that with us?
We actually we just finished up with appointments, and we haven't
You're just
really,
moving into your budget.
we start at the top. It could be 2 in the morning before we get to library. I'm kind of teasing,
No,
Randy.
I'm teasing.
Well, just, Mr. Chairman, I think you knew this, but last meeting when you weren't here, the majority was to hold the library budget where it was last year and not increase it.
And not decrease it.
And
So
not
that was a
decrease it.
discussion as well.
Yeah, we just kept it the same dollar amount it was last year.
443,054.
I think that's probably where we all kind of set on trying to make everything work.
No, and we appreciate that. I'm hoping that everybody saw. I feel like what we all saw as directors was increase in use. And I know a lot of that was related to both COVID and people needing to reach out to other places for whether it was internet services or digital services for ebooks.
Okay.
You can help me out here, Sarah, but yeah, we just really wanted to, it's more, we don't want people to think we're not paying attention. Yeah, okay.
Question, are you both from Lead?
No,
You're from Deadwood?
I'm
Okay.
I can't, I'm I can't remember.
Patricia Brown.
Brown. I knew it was Brown, but I couldn't think of your
We've
first
had
name.
some changes, so
Yeah.
the faces have changed.
All I could remember was Brown. I'm sorry.
So when you met and talked about this, you did that on a united front and all asked for the same amount, although each library is different, correct?
Yeah, we all asked for that.
I got a new lady over in Whitewood. Is she working out good with you folks too?
Oh, she's wonderful.
Well,
She's
good.
doing a great job.
We probably need to talk about wages and insurance. It's the two big things we haven't talked about. Doesn't matter to me either way. It's your choice.
Did you have any further questions for us then? It looks like that's where we're gonna be setting at the 473. All right,
Well, we appreciate your time.
all right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
I don't know what direction we're headed here, so I didn't want to waste any more of your time.
So did you want to eliminate nursing? Is that what you said, Randy?
That's where I'm leading. That might be a little bit harsh, but
Well, I don't think that, I listen to him all the time. I don't think they offer the county that much. And now he's got his own program and a lot of it's federally subsidized.
here's what I think we could do. Let me reach out to the county association and see how many counties participate.
Okay.
Just to give us a
That'd
feel.
be a good.
Because we're a pretty healthy county, although it's, I have mixed emotions about it because, keeping people healthy is important, but they haven't been giving us all the facts for a number of years. I'm trying to get past that.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to reach out, that'd be great.
I'll ask Chris. She has that statistic. It might be on the spreadsheet she sent. Do you have any thoughts on it, Brian?
Bruce?
You've been at this.
I'd leave it in and then find out. Leave it in for now, because we can change it before.
As a point of comparison, this is a little bit out of context, but I guess the South Dakota Highway Patrol, as of July 18th, as I understand it, they just raised their rates for troopers to $35.54. So that's I don't know if that's an average or what this is. That's what they're getting, $35.54.
Wow.
So if you're looking up here at what our deputies are making, most aren't making that.
Yeah, like
Well,
your sergeant would be at 35.
If that's we're talking about wages, I have a hard time making a wage increase that exceeds our maximum that we can improve and increase our budget, which is 3%, and the growth. Because if we give the 10%, correct me if I'm wrong, if we give the 10% wage increase, we've used our 3% and our growth, and we're still short $50,000. Acknowledging that our staff didn't take a raise during COVID, what I'd like to see is us commit to a 7% this year and a 7% next year. And that catches us up, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
As an option.
It'd be about right around
And then
15 to
improve
15.
the insurance as presented. I just don't think that, I just can't in good conscience spend more than we could that way increase it. And then we would be very close on those numbers. We wouldn't use all our growth. And is that true? Are my numbers about correct?
What was
Based
it,
on what we know.
859 right now.
Yeah.
And that's what using utilities from last year.
Utilities are in there too.
From last year.
Last year,
I haven't
okay.
gotten this year's. I don't
So
think
we might come out flat, but it's not gonna, I just have a hard time spending our entire increase on that.
Well, our absent commissioner did share with me, because he knew he couldn't be here, that he would support 7, but no more. So I'm just sharing that.
But I'd like to see a longer term commitment to reassure our staff that we will have some catch up because they didn't take it.
Yeah, but I don't know, can we do that?
No, but we do it.
No, I mean, you can say it,
But
yeah,
but that's our plan based on having the revenue.
Well, I mean, you almost feel crummy because here you've got two of the greatest people right here working for this county, and yeah, I included you, Bruce.
Well, we had just had John here and Brian and Shelley. I mean, for the bet, you have the cream of the crop in the room.
Well,
Find that child to do that.
and
That's a long time.
Brian shocked me because he's super conservative, and he was the first one out of the chute.
He has talked to me several times about it. And he's kind of taken the lead on being, asked if he minded if,
Yeah.
he took the lead, and I said,
As long as it's official.
yes, to do so. I was,
Like, I forgot something that in the budget that I wanted to talk about. I'd like to go, we're now short one public defender. And are we short anything in the state's attorney's office?
A secretary.
But that's fillable.
Yes. Well, yeah.
I would like to take the money out of the state's attorney's budget for that new hire, or excuse me, the public defenders, and put it over in court appointed attorneys. No, we increased that quite to 300. 370. So we increased it quite a bit, but maybe we could take, and since we increased that so much, maybe we could take it out of public
350
defenders. Just take that, and then we'd have to supplement our budget if we hired somebody. So I see the model going the other way. I don't think we're going to fill that position, which is going to force more court appointed attorneys.
I think it's going to be very difficult.
well, we're going to have to supplement court appointed attorneys,
This
there's no
year.
doubt. But I mean, yeah,
But we increased it a lot next year.
350.
Yeah, we increased it quite a bit. So maybe we just take that out of the budget, and then if we find somebody, we do a supplemental hire. Are we taxing for that?
You would be if in public defender.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, she's gonna advertise to rehire someone.
Or maybe we just don't fill that position. Same contact.
Put it on the screen.
Because we've been averaging somewhere between 13 and 15,000 a month on court appointed attorneys.
Oh, yeah.
Which is more than we're spending on the public defender's office, or equal to.
Well, I don't know.
No, go ahead.
I don't know what the structure is for the counties around us, but people move around and circle around here, back and forth there. So there couldn't be too much difference in salaries, I would think. And that, it always sticks in my head there a couple of years ago, or 3 years ago, maybe, just track of time, that we gave a 5% raise, and we gave $1,500 bonus besides that, and get your step raises, which I believe you said amount about 5%, or 2%, 2%, and 3%, right?
Yep. When you go to the next
So-
classification, it goes 2, 2, and then you go next, it's 3.
So that's that kind of raise, and you get the longevity raise, and a couple $1,500 to $3,000 raise on this, supervisors. I think we're treating you all right, or we need to treat you well, but it looked to me like that was more than 10% raise that year. And that, so I may be wrong.
I think more so we struggle more so keeping and competing with good help with our local cities in our community than we do other counties, just like John saying that he had this guy hired, and then Deadwood matched what the county was going to pay just to keep him, and we'll probably see more of that.
I think the chairman's right. I think Spearfish and Deadwood pay really strong.
Yeah.
And Sturgis is paying pretty strong. And then right across the border, it's much better wages.
Huge.
Yeah. So that's the uniqueness. And Pennington is pretty strong, and they're working 4 days a week. So that changes some of it too, year round. So I think that's what we're faced with.
Brett's had 2 applications for her appraisers, and she's had that open for a month now.
And then,
First one wasn't even, and then now she just got another one. We listed it at job service, and she's gotten one.
and the other side of it is on the private sector, the wages have gone up quite a bit. And they're looking at benefits too, because they have the same problem. And the difference is they can raise their rates to offset.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what we're seeing
And
on
we're-
bridges.
And we're capped.
More cap. Yeah.
So, where are you gentlemen at on 7%, 10%, whatever?
Well, if you look at the 5,015, but those, I know they're pretty straight numbers compared like what we did before.
Something you want me to put up?
I don't think we can go under
seven.
7.
Or,
I agree.
Well, I was thinking.
I just don't think
I was
we can.
thinking percentage.
oh, just the, when I did the 0, the
Because
7, and the
because those
5.
are seven.
Well, yeah, I was gonna
I
ask
don't
what it
know
would
that.
be for a,
I don't,
Skip to
yeah,
you.
I just gave
that.
this.
COVID, they didn't take any raise.
They had asked what the difference would be
I just
from
gave you
0
one
to 5
that
to
I
7 to 10.
right, and then I asked what it would be for a 500, 1,000.
Quite a bit.
That was on the top.
Is that on there?
I don't think there's
I have
that.
that information.
I'm not in favor of 10.
It's kind of a bit of a struggle, isn't it? Because it's kind of like the Soviet United States arms race, where it's sort of like mutually assured destruction, where everybody is sort of catapulting towards some no man's land with salaries and competing with each other, right? But you know, who's going to blink first? It's kind of the deal, right?
So if we did like a seven,
I don't know when the blink's going to happen. Everybody's sure in the race.
that's just
Well, I hate being in this position.
And that there is just full-time employees. It doesn't take into consideration half and full and or half and part-time like you did in the
yeah,
past.
said you can do this.
If you want us to step out, yeah.
Here's a question. How much is the insurance increase costing us?
I don't know that.
Ballpark. 100,000?
I could go key it in. I should have ran that, Randy, and I did not.
Maybe the easy way to look at it is what was our insurance last year across the departments and what's our insurance proposed.
I would have to go pull it out and run it and put it back in the way it is. Well, I could just take it back to the 80/40. I just don't have that.
I'm curious what that is on this graphic. How much the insurance is going to cost us more too, just like we did with that bonus scenario.
Well,
I think there's anything that could be source of reference.
well, it's like if you look at 23 to 24 under group insurance, just under commissioners, it went from 44,712 to 68,208.
Wow.
But that's not everybody, you know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Is there a different department we can look at that,
how
that
about,
is pretty much fully insured?
you know, it's
Go to the highway and then go to the sheriff's department.
I was just gonna say we could do sheriffs just to see what the difference is. I never even thought about doing that. So they're from 206 460 to 241 728.
206 to
So about
240.
40,000.
So that's about 10% would be 20,000, about 16% increase. Is that right?
Highway, 50. 252,
Oh, yeah,
7 to
highway.
281.
So that was less. So it's somewhere around 12 to 15%. And what's our total? Do you have a total insurance for the group insurance?
I don't have a total. It doesn't. The budget program doesn't break it out that way. I could do it by taking it back to where to the 70/30, and then the $90.
But we're talking about an 80/20 plus playing personal.
playing the whole single. Yeah.
So people that aren't on it.
It's I would suggest that it's right around $140,000 based on those two large departments.
Because there's one
That'd
that's
be 60. All the other departments aren't as big. So, you know,
Do
does
both.
that make sense?
Do you want? I can. It won't take me that long.
Could you do that? Just see what that increase is in
All
dollars.
right, you're gonna take a
And
break?
that's based on who's insured today.
Yes.
I'm just gonna beat this for now.
Do most, Brenda, do most of the
Back live?
Okay, we're back live.
Okay, so, yeah. I mean, yeah. And I budgeted for a 10% increase on the insurance because it was about 8.5 last year. So I had already, that was in there and just budgeted 10% and then paying the single and doing the
So you don't
80/20.
know right now exactly what it will be.
Exactly. I mean,
If
it comes in at- if it-
15% here a couple years ago on us.
no,
Seems like it was pretty bad.
last year was 8.8.
We were lucky last year.
Yeah.
I remember one year it was horrible.
We did some increase with the, like I said, the copay, which helped, and we upped the out of pocket or the
630.
We have one of the high claimants is going to be rolling off too, I think, which will help a little bit. Potentially, our experience rating.
Well, let's try to get a consensus on
This and this and then that.
on the wage. We can't vote on it, but we can do kind of a straw poll. And then take care of any loose ends here you
Well,
want
we
to.
can vote on it.
We can vote on that.
Because it needs to be somewhat provisional, right?
We can vote on a
Yes, I have to-
provisional.
yeah.
We
We
still
can
have
vote on
to
a
go
provisional.
with provisional ballot.
Yeah, you
That's
have
the
to,
goal.
Yeah.
you have to set the provisional ballot and then set
Right.
the public hearing. So
Do we want to do anything on the nurse? Or we're gonna wait? We're gonna wait, right?
I think we should until you can gather some.
I say
Leave it,
maybe
I
the
mean,
end of the-
that's,
leave it as is. Okay.
that's,
That was one outstanding. Was there any more outstanding besides wages, insurance?
GM, the Hawk, and all that.
I'm fine with that.
That was just a discussion to see.
Well,
Because they had been there
I'm
20 years
sorry,
to
I'm
come
so
in.
passionate about some things, but I, like I said, I look at that, doesn't owe us anything. It was given to us. The arrangement we have is working well.
putting $8,000 in chains on it didn't go over very well.
Huh?
They wanted
$8,000 for
chains, and we said no.
Oh, I wouldn't have,
They say I've
it's 57 to the good right now.
only ever seen one person put chains on a four-wheel drive, and that was a mess. I don't know how you put six-wheel
But
drive.
this thing is like an elephant on steroids.
Oh, I've
Can
seen
you
it.
imagine being
I've
on
been in it.
ice?
It's huge.
To be
Well-
on ice with that?
And actually, one of the reasons that I wanted Paul to come in is our emergency management budget is much, much, much higher than anybody else of our size.
But it's pretty quality.
And then the dispatch usually, or the search and rescue usually handled by the sheriff. So as we evolve,
But if we get rid of those, I'll guarantee you the sheriff will have to hire one or two more people full time and pay all the wages rather than half just to cover it.
Meade County has more land mass, same population. They have a half-time emergency management.
But it's not like the hills here. It's it's apples and oranges. Anyway, that's for another day.
As we move forward in time, I
Yeah.
think we need to have those discussions.
Sure. So we're just hung up on wages, huh? Brenda didn't like the 1.5%.
Well, I can only speak on behalf of myself, but, I am taking, the NACO leadership course, and last week was on negotiations. I'm not a very good negotiator, but I will plead with you to please consider the commission. And only because if you do if you're considering the bonuses, they're greatly appreciated. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that, but it doesn't do anything for the employee the next year. It gives them a big wad in their pocket in January, and then that's gone.
Where we.
Well, I'm just saying if
I
you,
asked about
yeah, and it,
So we have
yeah.
the dollar figures.
and so if that's an option, and just
Well, I think to your point, I can't support doing both 10% and insurance. But I'm still at the 7 with the insurance, with $1,000 per person bonus. That's right. And that keeps us about 875,000, which is just about what our increase will be.
And I stand to benefit more than anybody And if that is an issue in any way that would hold back others, certainly don't let that get in your way. I'd rather see others
Explain yourself.
Well,
Well, he's saying the top tier employees get more than the low tier. He's one of the top tier.
I am.
But look at the responsibilities that the top tier have.
you know, so if that is an issue, I don't know that it's, but if it is, you know, for me personally, I don't speak for anybody else, but for me personally, that's a sacrifice that can be made.
So you're pretty happy with what you're getting paid. Is that what I just heard?
Well, I'm willing to help others.
Because if you were
Well,
out,
that's very generous, but it needs to be fair.
if you were out in the private
I
sector,
agree.
you'd be much more wealthy than you are here.
I'm sorry.
If you're in the private sector, you'd be much more
But I'm
wealthy. You'd be
not.
That is
right?
true, and
It's a choice.
it's a choice that we're here and we want to be here. But we also are, you know, batting for, you know, those ones that sit out there because, you know, one of my negotiation tools was, you know, you all know when you go to the grocery store, you're paying double. You know, you go to the gas station, gas was $2, now it's $4. You know, everything is double.
What it brought home for me is we had an issue a couple weeks ago. I won't get into the details. It was like it's a banking issue, and there was the timing. It was of when deposits were hitting banks. We didn't do anything different. It was more on the bank end of things, honestly. Well, it was all the bank end of things, but there was panic I was amazed at the panic in people that this money wasn't hitting their account
10 minutes.
like literally
Before it's supposed to.
like on the minute because they had, you know, and that's their personal choices. But there's so many that obviously have extended themselves. I mean, they're living paycheck to paycheck. It's very obvious to me. Again, maybe they're not good budgeters, maybe they're living outside their means, but it suggests to me that I think people are really struggling. And that was my takeaway anyway. I didn't talk to you about them, but yeah, it was shocking to me.
Well, that's why I was talking about the health nurse, 60 grand we could apply to other things.
One of the things that happens with wage increases and labor increases there, why when you give more 10% more wages, why the people got to pay that, and they're going to have to charge you more for their products, and so you may not gain anything, and a lot of times it bothers me to have these 3 step raises every year per year and give a high percentage increase in pay too. All that is.
Well, the
adds
step
up.
raises, you know, it like once a person has been here for a certain amount of time, those step raises they stop.
You're done.
You know, you're done.
You have to do a classification change.
change, or you're at
Well,
the top of your max.
That could be a 7 or even a little bit better, but I don't want to support that bonus thing. Because just like it was just mentioned, that doesn't help the next year. I don't know.
It's tough, I know.
I want to be fair with everybody, but I don't make that kind of money in my life. So I struggle with, but I'm not a professional either. We must live a lot
BS
less.
artist.
What did you say?
Pretty good at it. He's a BS artist. I said, might not be a professional, but he's pretty good at it. On the other hand, I got a BA in BS.
I'm a psychologist for 9 years in anymore.
Mm.
Okay.
Whatever you do, I know the employees do appreciate it. That's sort of like a truism, like yeah, blah blah blah, but they do, and I know that for a fact.
Yes. I echo that, so whatever you decide.
I'm just going to throw this out. What do you? I told myself this morning, but what about 8%? Forget the bonus.
Okay.
I'll only go 7%. And I won't double up on the bonus and the wage too. And then the 3 steps besides that, and the what you get for a long payment. And we're already at 10% going down to 7. And
We got 2
add
days.
those other things.
Do you include the insurance in your rate?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
The insurance increase,
They're changing it.
change the insurance. We're paying for
It's already-
singles,
it's already
we're
plugged
going
in.
80/20.
What were we at?
On the individuals, we're gonna pay theirs, right?
Yep.
And the coverage is going from 70/30 to 80/20.
For the families or the
Family.
wife or spouse.
Child. And right now
Where are
we're,
you at on an insurance, Richard?
Well, I like the idea of paying for insurances for people.
so right now we pay 90 for the single, or the employee pays 90, and then the county does 70/30 is where we're at now. Like about 11% or something.
So I would go the 8 with the insurance increase.
Yes, that's where I'm
As proposed,
Mhm.
all for a single and then 80/20.
And no bonus.
No bonus.
at. We need 3.
I know.
Well, and the reason I'm pushing so hard is because they took a year with no raise.
I just gave you, they offset that by the year I just told you about, Randy, a lot. You figure that out,
I know
I just
what
told
you
you.
did.
And you'll find out that they got a good percentage for 2 years in a row average there when you do that.
Okay, so those people that are at the max step didn't get anything.
At the max step,
They're at this 3rd step raise, they didn't get anything.
well, they
Topped
got
out.
it sometime, yeah.
They're topped out. And the people that don't follow the step raises, like department heads, didn't get anything that year either.
Yeah, they did. A lot of them got $2,000 besides the percentage.
What's the bonus? On the
Just a-
COVID year.
No, I'm trying to think when, some got, yeah, we got a 2,000, yeah, a $2,000 raise. It's a 20, I don't know, I'd have to go back and look,
2021.
19 or 20,
18,
something like that.
The insurance increase costs us about $102,000.
Yes.
That's not
Estimated,
bad.
estimated.
Um,
And that's keyed into this already. I had that keyed in, so that won't, that's.
You had
is
the
that
10
bonus keyed in there
No,
too?
she's got the 10%
The bonus
and
was
the
not
insurance.
keyed in.
The 10% and the insurance increases came.
Is
Right, so
in
it'll
what,
drop a
what
little
I,
bit.
yeah, so
It's gonna
it'll
come
go down,
And the 8.
about 9.
Yeah, negotiating this one.
We're struggling getting Richard to go to 8, not 9.
Well,
She's using
I
tactics.
told you I haven't. I think we've talked it out with a lot of different things. You get the longevity and 3 step raises. And gave them bonuses before and that. And
Oh my goodness.
I think I've gone up quite a little myself. Like everybody else, got to pay the bills. And we're gonna keep getting more poured onto the jail all the time. Things.
I'll give you that number for the increase.
He's got a mathematical mind. I have to key it in. I couldn't do that. Have to
See,
start with,
I can usually translate divert into regular. It might take me a little
no,
longer
yeah,
than I'd like, but that took years of practice, by the way.
You're all in agreement on the insurance so far, so you have consensus on that?
The insurance is consensus.
yeah, so do the, pay the single and
Do the-
80/20,
yeah.
okay?
So
Or just
now it sounds like we're going between 7 and 8.
7 and 8?
The wage increase to 8% would be 8.5% is $137,000, so it'd be less than that. 900,
8?
so it's 913,833 minus 639, 644 divided by 3, about $100,000
A year?
under that.
To go from
7 to 8.
All right, I can live with that. Sorry, Richard.
Well, that's all right. I represent people as well as you do there, and they expect me to stick to my guns. Just like the people you represent, so. But,
Well,
And the bonus would have cost us a little
I-
more.
I guess that my hardship, Richard, is the wonderful people that we have working for the county that I want to make sure they're happy and I want to stay. And I mean, these two have been here for a long time.
yeah, that's right. And I appreciate it, even though it doesn't sound like it, I guess, but
Well, I think Richard got some good
Last
points.
Tuesday
I
on
think
the
we need to
18th.
look at reviewing our whole
You hate us, Brenda?
process. and change. I don't have
I
a
wouldn't
problem
still
with
be
that.
here if I
yeah,
hated
we
you.
need to do that.
No.
I just-
Oh, no.
I think that's a separate discussion.
Oh, yeah.
When I've been meeting with Brenda and Sheriff and Greg, I've been here 25 years. I'm the baby of the group
Right.
by at least 3 to 5 years.
And then you put John and Deb Tritle in the room, and then
Then you
I'm the
go,
baby.
John's been there 35 years.
Yeah, 35, and then Deb's 45.
So,
Okay.
point of order, do we need to make a motion to approve the provisional budget
Yes.
as determined today?
Yes.
That's my motion.
Just said, who wants a second? Brandon?
I'll let Chairman do
Okay.
it.
So it's to set the 2024 provisional budget and set the hearing for September 5th at 8:45 for consideration of the 2024 annual budget.
Okay.
Is that your motion?
That's it. That was my motion. Was that your second?
Yeah, I think it was. All those in favor of the motion will say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
So are you,
I have to be opposed.
so you're nay?
Yeah.
Okay.
3-1.
I just want to make sure I get it right.
Yeah.
No
well,
fight, no fight.
I want to make sure you understand that I think you're the best employees in the country in that, but I've got to look out for others too. They're paying your stuff in that too.
I appreciate that, Richard. I
Understood.
do understand. I do.
Well, if we took 4 miles of road off the system, we'd make up the 100,000 insurance increase.
Right there. Or-
I think pretty simple, really.
Yeah. We'll work on that tomorrow.
Okay, so adjourn at 2:31? Unless we have something else.
What's that?
Adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Adjourned. Brenda, can I leave my book here?
You can, all of you can leave it here, because I'll just update my own.
I took mine home on accident, and I thought, better not forget to bring it.
I do want to tell you guys that leadership course that I took, I graduated on Friday, the 28th.
Oh, party.
It's been very, very time consuming. I've worked every weekend on it because I don't have time to do it here. So my Saturday. Because I'd have to digest and then I type out my